Like, they were like 50 meters to the right, and Argus was 50 meters to the left.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's not great for my coverage.
No. I mean, they kept it, with the offset, they kept it back to where it usually is.
Okay.
But, yeah, it was, Argus was not on the line. It was, like, splitting it.
But wasn't it closer than it would have been? If
It was closer than it would have been, but I think they did it because it was just further off, you know what I mean?
Okay.
How many targets do we have so far?
We
60?
have 58.
Oh, 58, okay.
That's where we left it, I think, last night.
Yep.
Yep.
With the Star Wars ship there.
USBL's oddly behaving.
Right now, yeah.
Do we know if we're going to have the cleaned version of the scan return available for the audience?
It's more, I've been doing it more for target checking. It's not like going to be a pretty finished product. I guess I can talk to Allison about that. I'm kind of doing it rough and quickly to just get an eye on things, because this stuff normally should take a lot longer to process. So I'm doing it kind of quickly. So I hadn't planned on it, but I guess I could talk to Allison about it.
Nice.
Also, I feel like it would be a little easier if we got a good scan on, like, a specific object, just to, you could release, like, the picture of the object, you know?
Yeah, I
rather
mean,
than
we
the
could,
full.
yeah, we could put some of the target pictures up. I mean, it's just not very pretty in terms of the way it all stitches together, because Argus kind of kites to the side, so it hasn't been all that great. Also, I've been processing the high frequency because the targets look better, and the low frequency will show our coverage better. So I haven't actually imported those files, and so it would take a while to do that.
Okay.
But we'll see.
Yeah, the Nautilus will continue to explore areas around American Samoa, so we will be exploring with Hercules this time, the National Marine Sanctuary of American Samoa and Pacific Remote Islands Marine National Monument, and then back to the US to the west coast to continue the 2019 exploration. So yeah, keep following us, more adventures to come.
Well, that's going to be some long transit.
So we're about 24 meters right now. Maybe coming in. Well, if it holds it, maybe we'll see if that offset brings Argus closer. Otherwise, just let it correct itself.
Yeah, that would be great. So someone's saying that even if the data takes a while, if we publish it and clean it, then maybe some people can check it out too and be part of this finding potential targets for future investigation.
Cool that people are interested.
Yeah, that's cool.
I had some like fruit punch in my mug, and then I added water, and now it's just like some watered down Kool-Aid taste.
Gross.
Yeah,
Not very good.
I'm very disappointed. Alright, let me see that bingo sheet.
Someone mentioned that Rebecca's messages have gotten shorter and shorter after the bingo.
She's reducing the chance for error.
Exactly.
Didn't we
We
determine
also
that
haven't
it
really been
doesn't
seeing very
matter?
much.
You see this? Look.
Yeah, no, it's not on it now.
Honest to God.
Is that a tie wrap
It's
or?
just a tie wrap. Not a tie wrap, but a little.
Oh, it's got a little. Oh yeah.
And
reusable.
I don't know if it was Dan that took it off, but he was playing with a little bracelet that they gave it,
Yeah, look,
but
you
then
got this thing put
took
on here
the thing
now
off,
too.
and
This thing.
nice.
He needs to be doing something. I don't know. to fiddle with something. Maybe he should.
Give him both fidget cubes. One for each hand. Just so people know, official 80 plus is at 1724 UTC.
Roger that.
Thanks for following us and sending your questions along, your comments along. You are definitely part of this adventure. It's really nice to be here in front of the screen, checking the sonar, checking the camera, and also receiving your messages.
Yeah, for sure. We had people on the last cruise that, I mean, you know, you're up during a certain period of time, so you kind of catch the same watches. But, yeah, we were talking about, like, all of us being on the 4 to 8 watch, and we were being really obnoxious about being on this watch. But we had people, like, asking if they could be on the watch, too, and we're like, hey, you're up with us, aren't you?
And we shouldn't complain that much. I guess being here from 12 to 4 must be harder.
Yeah, I mean, there's been people that have been up through multiple watches in the middle of the night watching. We're only here for 4 hours.
Yeah.
So our bearing on these lines, is it 155 or so?
155.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Argus is just about coming around to start the line. Look at that turn.
It's pretty good. It's okay.
curved.
Yeah.
Less
pretty
It
good
doesn't
turn.
have a nice arc to it. It's just kind of like
No, it doesn't have a nice arc. I was trying to be...
It's not very nice at all.
I was...
It doesn't waste a lot of extra
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't waste space.
It's efficient.
We came all the way around, and Argus is tracking behind us, like at exactly the point that the line starts.
If
Yeah,
you're
it's pretty
following
good.
us, please
You
go
don't
to
have
the
that nice
cloud. You're
drift in
gonna
there,
see what we're talking about.
Thank you. I'm getting a slow
It's the
clap.
masterpiece of our navigator, Chris.
A slow pity clap.
That was not a slow clap.
The masterpiece.
Masterpiece.
It reminds me of a card from, you know that game, What Do You Meme? It's basically a meme version of Cards Against Humanity. Well, there's a card that uses a lot more expletives than I'm going to right now, but it basically says when your kid draws something that's really atrocious and you're trying to find the words to tell them that it's not fridge worthy. I feel like that's what you guys are doing with me right now.
I think for your kids everything's fridge worthy though.
Yeah,
Even though you make grimace.
your kid thinks it may be, but it's not.
My mom teaches preschool, and every once in a while, one of her students gives her artwork that ends up on our fridge. If, you know, letters are backwards.
When I
and
was
stick figures.
yeah, when I was young, we redid our kitchen and got stainless steel, so it's not magnetic. And so I'd bring stuff home and I'd be like, "Oh, we can put it on the fridge," and my parents would go, "Oh, no, sorry, fridge isn't magnetic." Like tape didn't exist.
They did that on purpose.
Yeah, I know. I figured that out.
My stainless steel fridge is still magnetic. The front of it is. I didn't think it was, and then I put a magnet on. I was like, oh.
Oh yeah, ours
There you
is
go.
definitely not,
Oh,
but
okay.
it still could have taped it.
I don't know. You don't want that sticky residue on your fridge.
Oh yeah. I always got mad as a kid because I had friends in school that, you know, they'd come back home with their report cards, and they'd be like, oh, like my parents told me if I got like all like B's or something, like they'd buy me an Xbox. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'd bring home all A's, and my mom would look at the A minus and be like, oh, do you need more help in that class? No.
Wouldn't even put it on the fridge for you.
I know people who get paid per, like, you know, like
Yeah.
different letters
Certain
or like
amounts of money
different
for
amounts of
different
money. I was like,
grades,
I would
yeah.
be rich.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's... I guess everyone has their own motivation. I think my motivation was just self-actualizing.
Yeah, we have 131 people around the world with us right now. So we do have numbers. I'm sorry, I just like keep responding questions just randomly
No,
without
no,
any context.
That's totally fine. It's your job.
Yeah, over a dozen countries, 6 continents, and 100 plus people in the middle of the night.
Pretty good.
It's the middle of the night for us, not for them.
Yeah.
Not for
I don't
most
know.
of them.
I consider this morning, but I
It's
suppose
not
it
morning
depends
yet.
on your sleep schedule.
5.
Are you
Okay.
normally up now?
No.
Then it's
Then
night.
it's middle of the night.
Well, it's 10 to 5 for those that are following us, so it's technically mostly the morning.
It's like when, you know, it becomes like 12 or 12:01 and people start saying good morning, and you're like, no.
I don't
No.
consider that morning.
Yeah.
Well, where do you draw the line then?
I don't know.
At the sunrise.
Morning for me, yes, sunrise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say sunrise,
And night starts at sunset.
or definitively
Exactly.
getting up for the day.
Isn't that? Oh, I guess if you go and take a nap, it's not.
Like, a lot of time, you know, you're at the academy and you get up and, you know, New England in wintertime.
Yeah.
No way that it's...
I mean, if
light
if
out.
you get up at like 4:30 or something for work, I still consider that your morning. But generally, if it's not based on like a sleep schedule, I consider it sunrise and sunset to be morning and night.
Yeah, definitely.
Even though technically morning is from 12 a.m. to 11:59 a.m.
Yeah,
by definition.
so we have to, when we do like greetings, the underclass always like greet everyone they see with the proper greeting.
Oh yeah.
And you get a little jumbled with time sometimes with everything that's going on. But the technical lines that we use are, midnight to 12 p.m. is morning, and then until 18 is afternoon, and then after 18 is evening.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then no one really says, at least in English, good night kind of means goodbye, I'm going to bed. But I guess when Tim was on board last cruise, who was our fisheries liaison, he spent a good amount of time in Samoa, 7 years in American Samoa, and he was giving us like a kind of rundown of phrases, and he was saying to them good night actually just means like hey, how's it going, but it's nighttime.
Like good evening, like we would say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just say good evening if I'm awake and it's not midnight. Or, hey, why are you up?
There's another bingo square for the future. Over 150 viewers on live stream team.
Is that what we have right now?
No, we have a little less than that. 135 now.
Oh, we could, that's easy.
That's easy.
Or, yeah,
that's a little
I've seen
too
it.
low.
Yeah.
Oh, but you never know how many, like there could be multiple people watching on the same,
I've seen it, especially for some of the really,
some of the camps and classes and.
yeah. Oh, yeah, true. That was something that got mentioned to us, is because we asked, and they said, some of these viewers being like classrooms or summer camps, like science camps and stuff, couldn't be like, you know, auditorium full and all you see is one view.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, no, definitely for some of the dives where we're really down there, like getting into it, not just side scanning, I'm seeing a lot more.
Yeah.
So if you watch the same stream in 2 different tabs, that may make it like 2 viewers, so
But why would you do that?
someone's asking.
If
Maybe
they
they
just
wanna
open
see,
a
like-
bunch
So
of tabs.
he does that to have 2 cameras, one in channel 1.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I'm
Thanks for
not
doing
sure
that.
because
That's awesome.
it'd probably
I
come from
think
the same
coming
IP.
out
It'd
of
be the same IP
yeah,
address.
I think they count IP addresses. So
So it'd
okay.
probably be the same.
So you're probably fine. Thanks for doing that.
yeah, that's how, like, if people change their location on their VPN, it can change location technically for wherever country it's routing for.
Yeah. We have 58 targets so far, right?
58, yep.
Yeah. So just 1 or 2 new targets since last night.
No, 0 since our last watch.
Oh, 0. Okay.
Yeah, those 2 were, the last 2 were
Okay.
we put down.
So it took Argus a couple of hours to go down that depth. So that's why we're trying to make the most of the time that we have Argus there scanning the area. Because it will take around 5 hours to bring it back and then put it back down. So yeah.
Yeah, round trip, it's about 5 hours plus all the work that has to go into attaching Herc. So if we jumped the gun and attached it too early, we'd ruin our chances of getting a full survey of the area.
So yeah, please do not open 20 tabs in Canada
It's
to
just
make it
gonna
appear like
slow
20
down
people.
your. Yeah, it's not gonna work, and it's just gonna slow down your.
Well, thank you though. That's very kind.
Feels like we've been here for more than an hour.
Yes, it does.
We have. We've been here for 1 hour and 1 minute.
Thanks.
Yeah. Hope
That's
that made
already
it
fine.
better.
Actually,
Yes,
we
that was a
got
very
here a few
accurate
minutes early,
observation.
so
Yeah.
I think it's closer to 1 hour and 5 minutes, given that
I
we
can
leaved
read
at about 5 up.
a digital watch.
How does the kayak look in the clean version for you?
It actually doesn't look as great. It looks like there's multiple reflectors, like a series of them, and then we've actually seen something that looks like it somewhere else in the survey. So I think it's just the way that it stretches certain features. Like I think it's probably one of those lava tubes that we've seen with the sediment crack in it. That we'll get things that just kind of stretched horizontally.
Great. So
We may still decide to check it out, but it didn't look quite as good after that.
So maybe not as promising as we thought.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, for the people that are just following us, we found a couple days ago something that we called the kayak because of the shape. But after cleaning the image, it seems like it may not be human-made.
Well, I mean, the other thing to note is that there's nothing else around it, you know, and so you're not going to get a piece of the plane without the rest of it. So I think we were hoping that there was going to be if it was a piece of debris from the wreckage, you would expect that there would be other
Close by.
Yeah, exactly. So that tied with,
because the explosion was not as strong as to like blew everything up in the air, and then
anyway, it happened close to the surface of the ocean because they were trying to land on the water. So it wasn't like an impact from 1,000 feet or something or higher. But we don't really know for sure what the force of the explosion was and what parts of the plane it destroyed. So that's certainly one of the research questions in finding the plane.
I'm just assuming that the explosion was not as severe, because the woman that was the witness didn't mention that it was like a huge explosion, right?
Well, remember she was 12 miles away, so she said that there was a flash in there and there was smoke. That's about all she could see.
Okay.
What time of day was the crash?
I think it was morning. Like it was definitely daylight. I think it was.
Yeah,
morning.
they were talking about
very early.
them timing their flight and how much fuel they had on board in one of the other watches, and they were saying they started early because they wanted to make it to New Zealand within their daylight. It was like
they'd been in the air about an hour when they came back.
Yeah.
Because they were moving south and they decided they needed to come back to Pongo and didn't quite make it.
Yeah, I can tell you exactly when that happened. See?
We still haven't found our not a rock, not a sea cucumber.
bigger than a bread box.
Yep.
Now here's a question. What about objects that can be bigger than a bread box if they want to, but also could fit inside? For instance, like a squid or octopus or something.
think that would count.
Yeah, I think that counts.
Okay.
It's a nice boulder.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is a rock, and it's bigger than a bread box.
Yes, does
That
not count.
only checks.
It's not
See, there's
pick
Two
two of
boxes.
Check
3.
zero boxes. Zero boxes.
there's a 90-degree
Well,
rock.
not a sea cucumber
Yeah.
bigger than a bread
Oh.
box.
Yeah,
True
yeah.
that.
The straight lines on the rock is interesting.
Someone asks if the flash could have been just a reflection from the sun. I don't think so, right?
It was paired with smoke.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Yeah,
And the
no, it was-
sound of.
Yeah, it was definitely an explosion.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because otherwise it wouldn't have sunk.
Mm-hmm.
Good question, though.
What intense moments that they have lived there, like right at that moment when they felt that the first signs of trouble. Because apparently, like after that hour, after taking off from Pango Pango, they identified the oil leak. So Captain Music had to shut down one of the plane's 4 engines and then turn back for American Samoa, and they were so close. So yeah, that's part of the enigma that we're trying to solve here. Is that we don't exactly know what happened.
This little contour right here looks like a dinosaur.
Oh, in the high pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
No.
It's funny.
We got a target with a guitar shape.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we didn't take it as a target though.
Right next to
Oh,
a
okay, no.
Red hot
Uh,
chili pepper.
chili pepper. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, haven't you heard that song? 5,000 kilometers west of Californication. No? Okay. I'll just sit in my corner.
Yeah, what you're seeing in channel 1 is the return from our sonar. High frequency on the top, low frequency at the bottom. Channel 2 is showing what the camera on Argus is showing. And on the quad you can see in bright pink, that is where the Nautilus is towing Argus. So how certain can 12 miles be? That's a tricky question.
We don't really know. I mean, so that was from witness reports. I think they were estimating. We don't really know for sure what the coordinates that are in the accident report were based on. If it was from statements like that, or if it was from where there was an aircraft and then a Navy ship that went out to look for survivors in the wreckage, and they found an oil slick that they said seemed to be coming from the seafloor. So we're talking like where it was coming up to the surface rather as opposed to just being on the surface. And also some debris, like there was the arm of a chair and things like that from the cockpit. So we don't know where those coordinates were, like how much of the information was in those coordinates. I think it was probably from where they picked up debris and saw the oil slick. But that's the reason why we're moving the survey to the west and to the south, is because if the oil and the debris drifted to the northeast, which is the direction that the surge or the swell and the winds were going in that day, the source would have been to the southwest. So there's also, they gave us the coordinate in the accident report down to the second of latitude, but just down to the minute and longitude. So we decided to go west first because there's less certainty and less accuracy in that reported position.
Perfect.
In my inability to sleep last night, I watched Office Space for the first time.
For the first time?
Wow.
For the first time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
What a great
What did you watch?
movie.
What did you think?
Oh, it was hilarious.
What did you watch?
It was
Office
Space.
Yeah, such a great
Oh.
movie.
I haven't
Yeah.
watched that.
Yeah, it's basically just all about how mundane, a job in a cubicle can be, and then it's just a comedy on top of that. It's hilarious. I was cracking up with the guy with the glasses that, like, every time he made him move his desk.
Milton.
Oh yeah, he was like,
Milton.
no, I can't. I could set this whole building on fire.
Do you know what the last? do you know what the last thing he says before he does that?
No, what did he say?
It's like when he's in the basement and he like asks him to.
Oh yeah,
He's like,
that's the
"But-
last
but-
straw.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
That's the last straw.
That was really good.
I like all the Michael Bolton jokes.
Yeah.
Why not go by Mike Bolton? Because I shouldn't have to.
I shouldn't have to change my name. He's the one that sucks.
What's your favorite song? All of them?
I'm the same way.
I know what you mean.
when
He
they're
calls him a no
when they're
talent.
beating up the
no
printer,
talent
and he
clown.
like he leaves, and like they're dragging him back, and he gets away and goes back.
Just starts punching the printer.
Was it the printer or the fax machine?
I think it was
It's
a
a
fax
printer,
machine.
I think.
Oh, was it?
Or I don't know.
Yeah. I don't
But
know.
I've had similar feelings towards printers.
PC load letter? What does that even mean?
Was your cabin mate on watch?
No, he was just out and about, 'cause he's
Oh.
on 0 to 4. So
Okay.
sometimes he just stays up until...
Who is it?
It's Rennie.
Oh, yeah, okay. Because I could see you, like, trying hard not to laugh out loud, which would be very difficult.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah. I was alone for that one, so only one that had to worry was whoever could hear me in the next room over.
Not down in the there.
I don't know, sometimes if the quad's really rowdy, I can hear him.
Well, you mean like Pasta Machinsky?
Last cruise.
Yeah.
Scare the quad.
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, that was so loud. It was like... Like, I honestly, a couple of times I was going to go out and say, like, is somebody being murdered? Like, I don't know if it was so loud. It's like, is it angry? Or is somebody in trouble? Or
Yeah, no, it was Kylie and Alex, our last Arias pilot in SCF. I don't know. They were having a party constantly. Yeah, they were very energetic and always laughing.
But it was always just the two of them.
yeah.
Yeah, it was
ludicrously loud.
4-person room.
I'd have, like, noise-canceling headphones on in the room. I hear someone screaming over it. Take them off. What the hell's happening?
I think our cabin was so loud because we were, I don't know, because we were like, I think the further aft you are, like the more noise you have from whether it's Thor or something, or the crew doing carpentry above you on the deck, or the winch. You just can't hear anything else.
It's funny that this winch doesn't make as much noise down there. The old one was very loud when you were in the quad on the starboard side.
Except for that one night when it sounded like those
Oh yeah,
baby playing giant bongos.
Has anyone dreamed about finding the clipper during these days?
No.
I don't know about a dream, but when I got up in the middle of the night last night, I came out to like watch the feed, and like again, every time I stare at Argus, like the Argus view, I'm just like, we're just gonna, come across a plane at some point, Like, you just like, everything you see, you're just imagining, like, next thing is just gonna be this plane sitting on the bottom.
I usually only have work dreams if the ROV is like broken or not working.
Yeah, like a stress.
Those aren't called
stress
dreams.
dream.
Those are nightmares.
Yeah, work nightmares.
I sometimes when I get overtired on the ship, I wake up in the middle of the night and think I'm supposed to be on watch, or like think that I am on watch and I fell asleep, and I start freaking out and then realize that I'm not in the van and I'm in my room.
Like you think you're in the van, or you think that you should
Like
be?
I think I'm in the van and I should be watching screens.
Oh my.
Oh.
I woke up around like 11 last night and I was like, oh my god, I need to be on watch. And
No,
like,
that happened to me, but at
like,
10.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
It's like it just hasn't been that long
Wow.
since I went to bed.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we zoom on that whitish thing on the leftish?
Go for it.
I think it's just a rock, but
Yeah,
I guess
they're
they're
like
like
two
two
rock.
rocks next to each other. All right, thank
or a
you.
rock with some sediment in the middle.
Is it a fish back there?
Oh yeah, look, move fish. Yep.
Fish.
A good, maybe, what,
Bigger than a bread
Cuskeel?
box.
Yeah.
I don't know, we don't have our scale. I guess you couldn't really, I would say no. I think I could shove that thing in a bread box.
Might be a
Oh, yeah.
something next to it.
That's not bigger than a bread box.
Yeah, one of our followers had a dream last night
about
yeah?
finding
about
it?
finding the
Whoa.
clipper.
Well,
I was dreaming about the screen also.
So, yeah, someone, I guess they were saying on last watch,
Mm-hmm.
wrote in where they, like, a very specific Latin long of where they thought the clipper was, and Rennie tried to enter it into high pack, and he forgot the negative sign, and that's how he crashed high pack.
That's
The program couldn't understand wherever the point was in, like, Russia.
the person that had the dream said there was also a piano soundtrack in the background.
Oh
Piano
yeah, a
soundtrack.
creepy, sad piano soundtrack in the
Oh.
background.
You've got something like that?
That's very descriptive.
Anyone
Thank
have any music we can
you.
play, make this thing come true?
Maybe if like a song, I don't know. Never mind.
Creepy, yeah, just type that into iTunes. Creepy piano soundtrack.
For the ones that were curious about the time, so the trip was scheduled from Honolulu to Auckland, New Zealand, with overnight stop at Kingman Reef and Pango Pango. And the departure from Honolulu was made on January the 9th. The flight arriving at Kingman Reef on that date, and then on January 10th, the trip was continued from Kingman Reef to Pango Pango on schedule. They departed from the deck at Pango Pango, Samoa at 5:32 a.m. local time.
So yeah, they would have turned around then a little after 6:30 and
After 1 hour, yeah.
been where they were probably around 7 something.
And they would have arrived to Auckland at 4:12 p.m. local time. So it was 14 hours and 42 minutes of daylight for the flight. And they had enough fuel for 18 hours.
Gotcha. Cool.
I'm glad it doesn't take that long to fly here.
Yeah.
Now.
Well, you got the jetliners that go
Oh, totally,
500
Would
yeah.
have taken us like
miles
weeks
an hour.
to get here.
Yeah, I just last night saw that, like, pit stop in Kingman Reef, and I was like cracking up because I'm like, that's what we did. We went from Honolulu to Kingman to Pongo Pongo, and then a bunch of people coming up are going to be flying out to New Zealand.
Yeah, from what I understand, they only had flights during the daytime. So that's why they had overnight stops at Kingman Reef and Pango Pango. We have to understand that this was the 20s and the 30s, where the moment in history with aviation was starting to explore new routes and like connecting the world for the first time. And Captain Music had done this trip round trip like twice, I think, And then this happened to the Samoan Clipper.
Some good rocks. Those are kind of some squarey targets coming up.
Yeah, we've seen ones like that before. It's kind of where you have these like ridge steps that then get pinged multiple times
Wow.
because we're going slow.
What is the minimum speed that we can do lines with Thor?
Like,
On engine, it is faster than we're going now.
oh yeah.
I think it clutches in, what, like 4 or 5 knots?
It's 4 or 5 knots, and then you don't want to be going that slow because it'll build up oil in the stack that'll fly out. So they really don't like to go below 8 or 9 knots.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's why the DP system helps out so much.
They also don't have as much control of their like headings and stuff, right?
Yeah, because the propeller's just pushing water out the back, one direction.
So what would happen if we increase the speed of the Nautilus to cover more seafloor in less time?
Well, you really can't. So even if like we set the speed at 2 knots, we're really only going about 1 or less than 1 because of all the weight and the drag of the 3,200 meters of cable in the water. So it's not a we want to go this slow. It's really we can't be doing this much faster than we are.
Okay.
Yeah, and you also just think of, well, let's see, we're going a little under a knot, and Argus is almost 700 meters behind us. Imagine if we were going 4 or 5 knots, like with the engines or something. It would be very dangerous for the ROV. The assistant to the Argus pilot's getting antsy.
Is it gauge time yet? Is it gauge's time yet? Oh, you did?
I almost
I
just
missed
spilled
it.
the beans. The espresso beans. I almost just dropped them all
Oh,
over the floor.
Espresso beans,
That would not have been good.
yes.
Justin would not have been happy with you.
What was it
Yes,
you
we
had to
have
tell
more
us?
people from Brazil. Welcome, Brazilians. Or wait, maybe you're not from Brazil, you're just in Brazil.
Yeah, you said you almost spilled the beans. What do you want to tell us?
Almost spilled the beans.
Yeah.
That means you didn't tell us what you were going to tell us.
Oh no.
I'm with you, Chris.
Thank you.
Oh, look, there's Russ. Oh, he's up early. I hope he goes back to sleep.
I think you signed up for another interaction
Yeah.
at like 9 or something.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they're having an interaction right now.
But no, the one at